everybody, Scott Wall with Dairy Management Incorporated, and I am in Glendale, Arizona at the fall meeting of the Dairy Sustainability Alliance. And I've got two very special guests with me today I'm happy to introduce you to. They are students in Casa Grande, about an hour and a half from here, correct?
Yes.
They're not in class today, but you guys have both had a big learning yesterday and today, and we're so happy you took time away from school to be part of this meeting. Before we get into the meeting, yesterday both of you had an opportunity to go to a local dairy farm. What was that like for each of you?
It was very exciting to see how they handled everything and how they processed everything and how they gained the milk, how they separated the cattle, and how they really dealt with the business side of it, because that's something that we don't see a lot and something that not many people really look at or discuss.
For me, it was like really fun because I've never really gone to a dairy. I live right next to one, and I mean I live next to one. I never really got to see how it was on the inside, and seeing how they milk the cows, seeing how they separate them from being pregnant or from being resting or from not even like being pregnant at all. It was just actually really cool, and I really enjoyed it. It really opened my eyes to how they treated the cows, which was very well.
You know, we're so proud of the way our dairy farmers also care for the earth, and they make great use of their natural resources. There's a lot of recycling that goes on in a dairy farm. Neb, was there something that caught your eye yesterday at the dairy along the lines of sustainable practices?
I had no idea that they made energy with the methane digester, was it? It was very interesting to find out that they could make energy like that. And they said that at my particular farm, they powered 450-ish Arizona homes, and I thought that was super interesting that they could create their own energy from recycling their manure.
How about you, Victoria?
I thought it was just really interesting. I thought the feed was very interesting. Not only the feed, I didn't know that they would give baker's waste to the animals. And when I smelled it, it smelled like figs and like fruit. And I didn't know that they separated the cows. I thought that all the cows were together, but they're not. The pregnant ones are in a certain pen, the ones that just had babies are in another pen, and the ones that are all good, not even in mating season yet, are in a different pen. And I thought that was very interesting.
Neb, did the visit change any perceptions you might have had about agriculture and farming?
A little. I thought that there wasn't much business to it. They just got the product, sold the product, but I know that that's not quite accurate anymore. There's an entire process to it. They have to produce it, process, and then finally market and sell. So it really extended what I thought the dairy industry was. It widened it. It wasn't just this narrow perspective anymore of just seeing the cattle. I saw a bigger picture.
Similar to Nev, I just thought, they were farmers. They just milk the cows, leave the cows, they go throw them in some grass, and it's all good. But that's not how it worked. You have to just really make sure that they're in well condition, and you have to make sure that the milk is fine. And there's a bunch of factors that go into being in a dairy. And I didn't know that. That was very interesting for me.
So both of you are part of Gen Z, and we love talking Gen Z in our industry because you guys are the future. And part of the reason I'm bringing you out here, we want to learn from both of you about your generation, what matters to you. When it comes to sustainability, how big of an impact is it, in your purchase decisions, the foods you eat? Does sustainability really weigh in an awful lot to the decisions you make?
I think it has a large impact on what people buy, consume, and what they choose to not consume, because based on their perception of the dairy industry and what they think is going on, it really changes their perspective on the dairy they're eating. For example, beef. If they think that cattle aren't being well taken care of, which they are being very well taken care of, they may decide that they don't want to eat any meat products anymore or any animal byproducts, so they may completely move off of that. Or if they really believe that the dairy industry is doing well, they may choose to go for those brands and go for dairy products instead of an alternative they see next to it.
So the fact that you had a chance to talk to farmers and be out on the farm, does it make you feel you're a little bit more educated about dairy and farming, and then you can talk to your peers who may not understand the things you understand now? Do you think that you might go forward and be able to talk to them about the dairy industry?
I do think that I now have a much better understanding of the dairy industry and what goes on in the dairy industry. And I think that sharing this with my peers, or maybe finding a way for them to conveniently find out about it and watch and learn about it, would be very beneficial to everybody, because then they would have more educated choice-making skills. They could take what they know about dairy industry and apply that to the products they're looking at. They can check and see, is this really good or is this bad? Or is this healthy for me? Is this good? Is this sustainable for the entire environment? Is this going to help protect future generations' food security and security to a healthy planet?
I think that honestly I could help my peers understand more about dairies, because I know that in Casa Grande, you don't really live around a dairy. It's like a town. So I think that a lot of people might be like me who knew of it, just didn't know what it was. And I think that now I have a broad, more understanding of dairy. So I think I could pass that on to other people and help them understand what is really going on, instead of them having this idea that it's just like a bad place for cows.
So yesterday was all about the farm. Today you were in more of a business setting, listening to presentations all day long from lots of different industry experts. Nev, let me ask you first, what stood out to you from today's sessions?
What stood out to me was really the cycle, how things went from A to Z and brought back around, how they chose to recycle everything, how they chose to package everything, the marketing, what goes into the dairy industry, and how they decide to conserve resources. I thought it was very interesting.
Something that caught my eye was how agriculture isn't in many schools and most students don't know of it. That caught my eye. I was very surprised by that. I thought it was something that at least a lot of kids knew. I thought I was the only one that didn't know. But that's not the case. And I was listening to one of the sessions, one of the conferences, and this teacher said that she had put agriculture and science together so the students could now understand both, and she could throw it into her curriculum. And I find that very, very interesting, honestly. I think that we should start adding agriculture into our schools more, but overall, just the fact that they didn't have it in our schools was very surprising to me.
Yeah, definitely a lot of science on the farm, isn't there? You guys both saw that. You ready to go back to school tomorrow?
Yeah.
Are you?
I like school a lot.
Okay, well.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's a good place to be. I really appreciate your time. I thought it was great having both of you here and having the opportunity to listen to some of your perspectives and to share our dairy industry with both of you. So thank you for making time this week. And dairy farmers, if you want to learn more about the Dairy Checkoff, please visit usdairy.com.